Hello, everybody. I was messing around with this and tried to go live on this other device over here, and I never could get the camera to cooperate, so I decided to go live as usual through my camera. But let me make sure I get all the settings correct. There's Anthony. I'm doing good. My allergies are still kicking my butt. Other than that, I'm fine. It hit 100 degrees here today. It's been bad. Been hot. Too hot. Has it been in your area, Anthony? And there's Edith. It hit 100 degrees here today, Edith. 100 degrees, and I was wondering why my AC kept running so much. It hit 100 degrees outside. No wonder. I'm trying to get this thing situated here so I bring up my chat. We got Joshua in the house, Anthony, and Edith so far. Yeah, I was trying to go live with this new laptop, but I couldn't get the camera connected, and it said download some kind of program, and I said, well, I don't want to do that right now. So I decided I'd come over here and do this. So just got to go in here and make sure I got all the settings correct. It worked pretty good. I don't know that I would have bought one. I don't know how much I'll use it, but it works pretty good. I don't usually have to grind up a lot of meat and stuff, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much I'll use it, but I guess it's good to have one, especially if it's free. Now, let's see if I can bring my chat up. I got those settings correct. Yeah, I was testing out that new laptop. I hadn't decided yet whether I was going to keep it or not. And I couldn't get the camera connected. I mean, I can open the camera and use it all day long, but to connect it to YouTube, I don't. This one would just connect automatically, but this other one over here doesn't do that for some reason. I'm coming from... Oh, okay, Daniel. Welcome. Welcome to our live chat tonight. I hadn't planned on this. Like I said, I was messing with this other device, seeing if I could get it to go on live, but I couldn't get the camera connected. Finally bringing it up here. And I started right out with an ad. Tamara Aimling is here. Daniel, Tamara, Edith, Anthony, Joshua. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Matthew in the house. Hello, Matthew. Well, I covered my camera up. That was an accident. The camera said, "Hey, you're covering my vision hole up. No one can see." Well, it was on sale, Joshua. It was like $869. I think it normally sells for about 1200, but I'm not sure I'm gonna keep it. I'm trying it out. If I don't like it, I'll send it back. But yeah, I don't know why the camera doesn't automatically connect when you try to go live on YouTube, because it will automatically do that on this old one. But my camera's not any good. That's why I never would go live from the camera on the laptop here, because the camera was terrible. But I guess I don't really need to go live from it, but I just thought I'd test it out and see how it did, but it wouldn't let me. We got Liz Daughtery in the house. Hello, Liz. Jimmy. Got Jimmy in the house. Daniel, Liz, Joshua, Tamara, Edith, Jimmy, Joshua, Matthew, Anthony. We got a house full so far, 29. Everybody just popping in. Yeah, I wore myself out today. It was so hot outside, I decided to get caught up on making some videos. And I like to warm myself out doing videos today, y'all. They got my pole switched out today, the utility pole. Man, it's about 10, 15 foot taller than the old one. It's way up there. Trees can go taller now, and they don't have to worry about the tree limbs hitting the electric lines. But I still got 2 poles out there. The old one's still there, and it's got the telephone, the cable, and whatever else hooked to that one. I think there's 3 other companies got wires on it. So I don't know if they'll come and change their cables over to the new pole or not, or if maybe they're just going to leave the old pole there. I don't know. But I figured they'd pull the old pole out, but it's there. I guess they could not pull it out because they don't have the authority to move the other company's cables. You know, for Cablevision, your telephone, and I don't know what the other line is. There's 3 other lines on there. Still on the old pole. But I had to call them because they, when they dug the hole to put in that new pole, they sent out a crew to hand dig it. They come out here the first time with the driller on that big truck that was going to drill the hole, but the builder put a temporary pole down in concrete, and he put it too close to the pole, so the existing pole, so they couldn't get the truck in there with that automatic corkscrew, as I call it, that driller. They were going to drill it with the machine, so they backed that out and sent a hand crew to dig it. But you know, when they dug it out, they piled all the dirt on top of the water meters, especially mine. And the crew that was here today that put the poles down, you know, mostly did everything with the big trucks and everything. And there was a couple of guys that were filling in the dirt around the pole, but they left the whole pile of that cleachy clay crap in the easement, and it was almost completely covering my water meter up, and it was partially covering the other new water meter for the new house that's going to be built. And I waited and waited, and I never saw another crew come out here to move that dirt. So I called the electric company. I said, hey, I just have a question. Are you going to send a crew back out here to move the dirt out of the easement that's covering up my water meter? Or am I going to have to get out there and hand dig it myself? I told her that when that first crew come out here and dug the hole, they covered up my water meter and partially covered up the new one. And I said, there's 2 water meters there. And I said, I'll have to take a shovel and get out there and dig all that dirt from around it myself if you don't send the crew back out here. She says, oh, no, ma'am, you don't have to do that. She said, we'll send that crew back out there. So I guess they'll be here tomorrow to move the dirt that they piled on top of my water meter. I've never used a Macintosh product or Apple. Their commands are completely different than like this computer I use. They have a whole different set of commands and stuff on theirs. They have like a different programming language. So I never have bought an Apple product or Macintosh. I stick with PCs, you know, like Toshiba, all of the name brand stuff that's not Apple. I have to kind of explain the title to the video, Every Day is a Test. Do y'all sometimes think that every day is a test? I feel like it is to me. I mean, it seems like every day I've got something thrown at me, and I got to decide how I'm going to react to it. And you know, you can react bad or you can react good. It just depends. Oh, there we got Janet in the house from Myrtle Beach. Alex Smith. But I feel like with all this lot clearing and home building and pole moving, replacing, and all this other stuff is a test, you know. I mean, I was just about to get upset when I walked out there and saw all that dirt on my water meter. I said, I should not have to get out here and move that dirt. And I said, by God, I'm not going to do it. So I came in the house and I called the company. So hopefully they'll send somebody here tomorrow. But I said that was a test thrown at me to see how I was going to react to it. Anthony said I would have been calling them and cussing them. Well, I was nice about it. I just told them, I said, you know, if the crew doesn't come back and move the dirt that they piled up around my water meter, I said, I'm going to have to get out there with a shovel and dig it myself. They said, oh, no, ma'am, you don't have to do that. We'll send the crew back out there. I'm writing up a work ticket right now. I said, good. And there's Linda Foster in the house. Welcome, everybody. We're just chit-chatting. I mean, I felt like I had a test thrown at me when I was out there talking to that home builder that's getting ready to build that new house back here. When he was telling me he was going to run his fence along where I've got my fence line. I said, no, you're not. I said, that's my fence line. He said, no, that's my property line. I said, no, it's not. I mean, I tried to be nice about it, but I told him, no, it's not. And I finally told him, I said, you see that blue line behind you? I said, that's where the water company marked where the water line is, all through here, the back of this lot. And I said that was so they know where the water line was to put the new water meter in. That is your property line. So he took a step back and he stood on the line and he said, right here? I said, yep. Well, I can just put a fence up here. I said, well, you'll have to talk to the water company about that. I said, that's the water company problem right there. I said, I don't think they'd feel kindly of you putting a fence across their water line. And come to think of it, I think that's why they put his water meter, you know, the line's running this way and they put his water meter crossways like that. So half of it is on my side, half of it is on his. So there's no way he can put a fence over it. He'd lock the top because you got to lift the top off to get to your water meter. So he can't do that. They wouldn't allow him to anyway. And I found out he didn't have a permit yet to build anything or put a fence up or anything. And some of the workers out there told him, they said, well, first of all, you need to go get you a building permit before you think about putting fences or anything else up out here. I said, you don't have a permit to do anything yet. So I'm hoping when he goes and gets his permit that they'll tell him where the water, the water line is the property line, and you got to be at least 3 feet off of it on your side to put your fence up. Because I don't want to argue with him anymore. I mean, it was about to get me mad. I didn't let him get me mad, though. But he kept on. And he was just telling me a bunch of stuff, and I knew he was lying. I knew there was not a bit of truth in anything he was telling me. And the more he talked and the more he lied, the madder I got. But I held it in, y'all. I was good. I bit my tongue, and I didn't lose control. I just took a deep breath and said, oh my God, I can't believe this man is standing here right in front of me, lying. Every word he said was a lie. And he thought I didn't know. I finally told him, because he said he was looking for his property line to see where his corner was. I said, well, your corner is not back here on my property. It's over on the other side of the water line. And he said, I can't find any stakes. I said, you couldn't find property markers on the front of your lot? He said, no, there's none there. Well, they're there. They've been there for so many years. There's so much dust and leaves and debris that's gathered over the top. So they could be 6 inches under the dirt right now, over the years. And it would take a licensed surveyor to find them. And he'd know exactly where to go and how to find them. And he'd find them. So that just let me know that he didn't have his lot surveyed. I said, well, if you'd had a licensed surveyor out here to survey your lot, you'd know where your lines were. You'd know where those property pins were. He didn't say another word. Oh no, who's aggravating Edith now? Ladies, I hear got in altercation playing Scrabble. Refuse to play with those ladies. Oh no. I'm sorry, Edith. How in the world did you get an altercation with the ladies playing Scrabble? Anthony said, I wouldn't have held it in. I'd have let him have it. No, I tried to be nice. But they went around telling people that I was screaming and hollering at them and all this, acting like a crazy lady. And I never did that. Never did it at all. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I hope when he does go get his permit, they tell him where his property line is, that it's the water line. That's the center of the two lots, where they meet in the center of the whole block. And that's where they run the water lines. And that's what the easement is for. They put the water lines in the center, and then they allow 2.5 to 3 feet on each side for easement. So you can't come closer than about 3 feet or so to that water line to put your fence down. And these builders, just like the first one over here, he came all the way through the easement on the other side and put his fence up on the other person's fence line. And he claimed that was his property line. Well, I knew it wasn't. And they're trying to claim the same thing on my side. And I said, no, I don't think so. He said, well, I'm going to put up a fence on my property line. I said, you can put it up on your side of the easement, but not over here. This is my property. And I said, you must want to go to court. He didn't say anything to that either. So we'll see what happens, Who knows how this is going to play out. Alex says, why talking about random things? Stay on topic. Who's talking about random things? What is stupid, Alex? I missed something. What? Oh my goodness, Alex, what in the world did Edith do to... get you uptight. I got to look back here in the chat and see what's going on. Well, that builder said that's what all the builders were doing. They were coming through the easement and putting the fence up on the other person's property, and that means they're taking at least 3 feet of the other person's backyard, their property, away from them, because that's the easement. You know, you're supposed to leave it open for the water lines and water meters access and all that, and they're just claiming it part of their backyard. That's what this builder over here did to that new house that was just built. He enclosed, this other man beside me, his whole back easement in his backyard. And I'll guarantee you he's going to end up having to move it. Because if we don't allow this, or I don't allow, and I'm not going to allow him to put a fence up on my side and block me from my easement, then they're going to have to make him take that fence down over there and move it back over on the other side of the easement where it belongs. It's because they're buying 50 by 105 foot lots, and they're putting these great big homes on them. They're only allowing barely 5 feet on each side, and they only have very small backyards, basically just barely enough room to put a septic system down, because they have to put those aerobic systems, and the lots are so small they can't put sprinklers on them because it would either spray on the house, the privacy fences, or on the street, or over in my yard, and they can't do that. So they're having to put like drainer hoses down under the ground for it to drain out. And to give them enough room to do all that, they're grabbing the easement property as part of their backyard, and they can't do that. That's not legal. I'm not a very nice person. I'm not a very good neighbor, Anthony. I bet you are. What have I missed in chat? I'm lost too. I don't know what's going on between Edith and Alex. Well, somebody fill me in. What in the world triggered this debate between Alex and Edith? Good for you, Anthony. Well, and if he puts a fence up where he says he's going to do it, they want to move my garden out of the way. They want to move my raised bed that's right at the edge of the easement. They want to move it back to put their fence there. And I said, no, you're not. I said, you're not moving a thing over here on my side. This is my property, not yours. But he still insists it's his property line, and it's not. It's my fence line. The water line is the property line. I told him, I said, you need to go talk to the water company if you don't believe me. They'll tell him when he gets his building permit, I'm sure. But they've been telling them that they can only put their fence on their property line. Well, they can't, because that would be right on the water line. They got to put it at least 3 feet offset of that water line. On their side of the water line, not on my side. Alex told you, Linda, to be quiet, old lady. Her words. Now she's fussing. What? Well, what have I done that you don't like, Alex? You don't like the topic of my live tonight or something? Because I'm totally in the dark of what's going on here. Yeah, that first builder figured, well, I got a big enough yard. I could spare a few feet. Well, no, I can't. You know, if they want to buy just one lot and cram that big house on it, then they're not going to have a yard. Plain and simple, they're not going to take up the footage of my backyard to put in their backyard. There's no way I'm going to let that happen. I don't know either, Anthony. I have no idea what's going on between Alex and Edith. Naomi's here. We're fighting the same battle here, Fort Worth, over a power pole easement. Well, here, you know, we've got an easement that goes down the center of the block from one end of the block all the way to the other. The water easement, the utility lines, cable lines, phone lines, water lines, everything are run along that easement. And the water company figured out where the center of the block was. So where each, like my lot here and that other guy's behind me, where it meets in the middle is where they ran the water lines. And then they allow so many feet on this side, so many feet on this side for the easement. So they're taking several feet of each person's back property in the easement. And what these builders have been doing, instead of coming here and putting this fence on his side, away from, you know, at the edge of the easement, leaving the easement open, they've been coming all the way over to the other person's side and putting their fence here. So that means their side fence is run right through the easement, blocking it off. So the whole easement in that section is blocked off in their backyard to the new house. And they can't do that. It's illegal to do it. They're saying, well, they build a house on this side, the water company can just run a 5-foot pipe under their fence into the other yard and put their meter over there. I said, the water company's not going to do that. The water company's going to put another meter right in your backyard where you blocked off the easement, because that's where the water meters go, in the easement. And you had no right to block it off. I mean, I don't know where they're getting this kind of thinking process from. But he told me all the builders were doing it. They were enclosing the easement in the backyard of the houses they were building. And I said, well, I hope you know that you're all set up for lawsuits. The only reason you haven't been sued is because the person that lives on the other side of that easement hasn't sued you yet. Yes, Jana, why do you got some... Alex, please tell me what's going on. There's some kind of argument between Edith and Alex, and I don't understand what it is. Oh my goodness, do we have a full moon tonight? Yeah, Anthony's a moderator. Jana's one. What kind of question did she ask you, Alex? Well, that's what I'm trying to find out right now, Anthony, is what's going on. What did she ask you, Alex? I'd like to know. If it was my first time here. Well, that wasn't a stupid question. Maybe she had not seen you here before. She may not have been here a few other times that you were here. And there goes Gladys in the house, and lay away. I know I destroyed that name. I try to say it, though. If it is understand you are welcome here. There are overlapping discussions sometimes. Exactly. I mean, there can be 4 and 5 different discussions going on here. Me on one topic with one subscriber, and there could be 3 or 4 topics going through the chat. Sometimes I can't keep up with it, just like tonight. I don't know what was going on with Edith and Alex. Oh my goodness gracious, y'all. That's the reason I have to stop sometimes when I see comments come up in chat, and I was like, what's going on? I lost something here. I missed something. Well, let's forget about whatever the discussion was about and move on, okay? We don't want the whole live chat tonight to be a little debate between subscribers here. Yeah, I told that builder, I said, if you want a bigger yard, buy 2 lots when you build a house. And that way you'll have a whole lot for a yard, and then you'll have the 1 lot to build the house on. I said, I own 3 lots. That's why I've got space. You know, and that's why I bought it, is because I wanted space on each side of me. I don't want somebody breathing in my windows, you know. And 5 feet between me and that other person is not far enough. I don't know. I lived in New York for a long time. We lived in a high-rise apartment. We lived on the 3rd floor. And that was not like having people in your backyard, you know? I mean, because you didn't have a backyard. You were in a 3rd floor apartment. You didn't know what a yard was. You didn't have one. The only grass you had was the front of the building in a grass area where they had signs, keep off the grass. But when these homes are built so close, just like the other day, I was in my backyard, and bless her heart, I was filming a video. So naturally, I was talking. I was talking to the camera. She come out the back door. I could see her because they put a little porch on the back of the house. Where is she? Where is she? Better not be in our yard. She's talking about me, y'all. She heard me talking. And her husband come up behind her and she said, it's the lady next door. She does YouTube videos. She's probably doing a video. Said she's not in our yard. She can't get in the yard. It's fenced in. What'd she think I did? Climb the fence? I don't know. But, yeah, one of the houses that my daughter built, her and her first husband, built in Watauga, the property was just like that. There was tiny little lots. There was only 5 feet between the house and the privacy fence, and then 5 feet between the privacy fence there and the other house. So everybody was close. And the privacy fence that went around your backyard, of course, the one that went in the center was the fence for both houses. And then you had your one across the back. Well, if you were in your backyard, the other family over here was in their backyard, and the family on this side was in their backyard, you could hear all the conversations. It was just like they were sitting right in your yard with you. And my daughter and her husband said, Mom, we don't like that. We have to go in our backyard and whisper. And she said, I don't like coming in the backyard for a cookout or anything, and you're hearing everybody else's conversations going on in their backyards. You have no privacy. So that's one reason they built a new house and put it in Vista Ranch, where their lot is at least an acre big. You know, they got some space between the houses. They got space between the back and the next house over. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to hear somebody talking in their yard that lives next door to you, then you don't need to be living here. You don't need to be living that close to me. Because I'm going to be doing videos probably every day, and part of them are in the yard. And I'm going to be talking to the camera. And there's John Ray Birds. Hello, stranger. How's the birds hanging? Oh, I'm in a silly mood tonight, y'all. It hit 100 degrees in Texas today. It's been a hot one. It's definitely been a hot one. Joshua ate a green burrito tonight. Oh, you eat a vegetable burrito. It's probably the wrap was a vegetable wrap because it was green, and then your stuff was inside. Is that what you're saying, Joshua? Because if it was a green burrito, that's what you ate. It was wrapped in a green vegetable wrap. And they're good. I use those vegetable wraps often. John Ray is always filming birds and stuff like that, and he does a good job at it. I can't catch birds that often here where I can video them. Usually if I step out in the yard, they take off. Verde sauce. You're too old for this, Anthony? What are you too old for? Oh, the Carrick homemade cherry jello. I love cherry jello. That's one of my favorites. You need another drink? I don't know. Maybe you drank too many drinks. Well, unfortunately, the more trees they clear out of these lots to put these homes up, the less birds I have coming in my yard. So I know that a lot of these birds had nests in those trees, and they tore their nest up and the birds went somewhere else. And I hate seeing that because all my birds are going to disappear. I mean, when they clear in the lot, they strip it. They take every tree out because the lot is so small they can't have a tree there. You found green verde sauce a few months back. Yeah, it is good. I've had it before. That green salsa. But I got to go to the store to buy some more. Uh-oh. Well, maybe you need to leave it in the store. Just a little change can make the birds do. Yeah, because if you destroy their homes, and as many birds and road runners and everything as I had here, like I said, they cleaned this lot off over here and built that house. I lost birds. They cleared this one over here, built a house. I lost even more birds. Now they're clearing the one directly behind me, so I've lost more birds. So I know they're destroying the nest. Those birds were nesting in a lot of those trees. But there's nothing you can do about it. I just hate it that the birds aren't going to be here. I mean, I still have some, but it's not going to be as many as usual. So far this year, I've only seen 2 hummingbirds come to the hummingbird feeders at one time. Most of the time, it's only one. Joshua said that's what my dad made last night. He put green sauce in that burrito or something. When your barn burnt down, it took a while for the birds to come back. Yeah, I hate to see them disappear. I don't want my tree. I don't have that many trees. I don't want them cut down because then all my shade's gone. And when they cut the trees down behind me back here, they cut down a lot of the trees that were helping shade my garden. But if he was to put a fence up on my property line, or not my property line, my fence line, right at the edge of my garden, and they'd have to move part of my stuff back if he did what he said he was going to do, it would shade my garden. My garden would not get any morning sun at all. Because I don't know how tall those fences are. They're about, I don't know, 6-7 feet. They'd shade everything I've got along the back. And, you know I put shade cloths up, but the shade cloth allows some sun to get through. A solid fence is not going to let any sun come through. Janice said, I love Tarte. Yeah, I do too. The Verdi's pretty good. Edith's got a dentist appointment for the end of September. I need to find a good dentist out here. I need to get my teeth clean. Unfortunately, my good dentist that I went to for so many years, that I started going to right after we moved to Texas, took my kids to, he's retired. And I don't like the dentist that took over. I went in there to get a partial here for 2 teeth that are missing right on the top. And I went in, they made the mold, I put half the money down, and I went back in for them to fit it in. And when I went back, it was soft. And when the dentist tried to fit it in my mouth, the teeth popped out. And I said, I don't want this. I said, what am I going to do with something that the minute you move that plastic, the teeth are going to pop out? I said, I'm not paying for this. And I made him give me a refund, and I never went back. He said, well, a different one would hurt. I thought to myself, well, this is not any good. If the teeth fall out of the thing, I'm not going to have any teeth there anyway, so what's the difference? Well, I paid $800 for something and the teeth fall out of it. That didn't make sense at all. I'd be super gluing my teeth into that little thing, whatever goes up in there. Oh, I know. One of the teachers were telling me that she went in to get, I don't remember if it was a crown or a bridge or what. It was some major dental work. Not just a tooth extraction or not a filling. It was something kind of major that seemed like was going to cost her about $3,000-$4,000. And of course she was going to use her school dental insurance. Well, then she found out it was going to cost her $2,000 even with the insurance. And then she found out later that most dentists only charge $2,000 for what procedure she was going to have done. So she didn't like that. She said, it looks to me like these dentists are double billing for patients coming in. They're going to make me pay, and they'll make the insurance pay the same amount, so they're double billing. So she says, I'm not sure that having insurance is any good. I don't think I've ever had dental insurance. I've always had to pay out of pocket when I went to the dentist. But now I don't have my dentist because he's retired, and I don't know another good dentist that's not going to rip you off. Oh, you're talking about your son, Anthony? He's went off to college, Tamara. He's a college student now. And he got to take his car with him, too. Yeah, I started to title this, Jealousy is the Root of All Evil. Because I don't know how many of you people have, and I think that's another test that's thrown at me, almost every day, every other day, has my whole life, where people are jealous of you or something you have or somewhere you've been or something. Like one time, I went to a childhood friend who had her own beauty shop right in my hometown. And I'm not saying any names. My mom recommended to go because she had her little shop open, because my mom would go there and get her hair cut. So I went. Well, she fixed my hair really nice. But then I noticed, because I could feel it, she took her hand and she pushed down on the back of my head. Well, from the front, my hair looked great. I was happy. I got home and I looked in the back of my head with the rear view, the mirror, I held it up to the other mirror in the bathroom and I could see the back of my head. She had flattened it completely flat on the back of my head, which looked weird. So I was there with my tease and pick and everything else, trying to puff it back up in the back, trying to round it off. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, look at my hair. Well, maybe that's the way the style is. I said, no, Mom, it wasn't. I said, I'll never go back there. And I never did. I said, that was jealousy. She didn't want me to look good. So she did that to my hair. So thinking I wouldn't notice it or I wouldn't look. And people would be giggling and snickering and laughing at me behind my back when they saw my hair. But I've never had anybody do that to me before. And I've been to other beauty shops. I've never had anybody tease my hair up, puff it up, make it real pretty, and then take their hand and just flatten it. So I think there was a little bit of jealousy going on there, or what other reason would someone do that, you know? It says in the Bible not to be jelly. I was born poor. I worked my butt off to get where I am today. I'm not rich, but bills are paid. That's me, Jesse. My bills are getting paid. I'm not rich, but at least I got a roof over my head. I got a decent car to drive. I've got food to eat. I've got money, to pay my bills each month so they don't turn my lights off. They don't turn my water off. The way prices are going up, I don't know how long that's going to last, but that's the way it is right now. That's the way it's been my whole time. Basically, I've been living in Texas, because it seemed like almost the whole time I've lived in Texas, I've been divorced and living on my own since my kids were grown and they moved out. Grilled chicken, scalloped potatoes, and green beans. Oh, that sounds real good, Tamara. Yeah, that was just, I don't know. She just didn't think I'd realize what she did, and I'd go home and hold the mirror up and look to see what she did. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I can't believe she did that. But, that's jealousy. I mean, that's something I've dealt with my whole life. Jealousy over something. Sometimes it's just the most little pitiful thing to be jealous over. But, that's people. That's nature. Yeah, it sounds good, like you had a good dinner tonight, Tamara. I got peanut butter, sunflower seed, and dog food. I'm happy. Well, that was the one and only time I went to that person, and I'll never go back. Never did. Never will. And I always usually fix my own hair. I always fix my hair. I cut my own hair. Jesse had a chicken wrap. That sounds good. Chicken wraps are good. I was jealous of your tomatoes. Made me want a homegrown tomato sandwich and haven't gotten one yet. Oh, I'm sorry, MT. You can't grow tomatoes where you're at? I've got some more big green ones out there. I was surprised how many more of the Roma tomatoes and the celebrities have put out green tomatoes. I just hope they ripen up. Tamara Douglas had cream tuna over biscuit with glazed carrots. That sounds good. I have not had cream tuna fish in a long time. I used to have that every once in a while. I'm going to have to fix some of that pretty soon. Tamara's stuffed and she's got plenty for another day. Oh, man. Jesse had tuna salad. I love tuna salad. It's been too hot here. It hit 100 degrees today, MT. That's why I got shade cloth up over the garden. That's why some of us planted under the trees. I tried to shade it from the mid-afternoon hot sun, because that hot sun around 2 and 3 o'clock will literally burn your plants up. Lynn's in the house. I get it, Linda. I may have money, but my bills are paid. I don't have a roof. And I have a roof. I'm just fine. You are beautiful. So is your hair. I actually have red curly hair that is very gray now. Mine's very gray too. You see the dye that I put on it. I get tired of dyeing it though because it grows so fast. I always end up with, white roots, silver roots that glow in the dark almost. I remember something about that, Jana. I don't know if I'd want to use a hair cutting vacuum cleaner. I don't know. Well, I hope it'll be cooler here next week. Maybe a little cooler. Maybe some rain. We could use a little bit more rain. Janice said no. I stopped dyeing it, cost too much. Well, I do mine myself, and I get the Clairol stuff, or whatever the name of it is. It's like, I don't know, $4 a box when I buy it. And I try to do it every 2 weeks so I don't look like a skunk with a white streak down the center. You like this shirt? This shirt is so old. My daughter gave it to me years ago, and it was actually a little big on me when she gave it to me, but I wore it anyway. And now it fits me fine, but it's not too big. And I still wear it. I mean, if I get hold of a blouse or dress or pants or something like that I like, I don't get rid of it until they wore out. I'll wear it until the fabric falls apart. I know some of these new clothes I don't like either. That's me, Jesse. I wear them till they get holes. They wore completely out. And then I'll keep wearing them. You're guessing your dad's watching a movie on the big screen, Joshua? You could hear it with your door shut. Yeah, I think I tried to go live with this old laptop one time, and the camera connected right away, no problem. I can't get the camera to connect with the new one over there. I don't know why. It tells you to download this, that, and the other, and I thought to myself, well, I shouldn't have to download a bunch of stuff for the camera to connect to YouTube. Probably trying to sell you something or wanting you to join a subscription to some program to use it. Everything was made on the charcoal grill. That sounds good, Tamara. I need to do some grilling. I don't do much because it gets so hot out here. I'm a minimalist. I have OCD issues with Jesse said my middle name is Lynn. Hi, Lynn. OCD helps you keep your sanity. I enjoy all my subscribers. I love just chit-chatting with everybody when they come in to chat. But I thought to myself, it sounds to me like some of these builders are jealous because I got a big yard, so they want to help themselves to part of it. I said, that ain't going to happen. Buy you another lot, build your house on two. Don't just get a postage stamp and try to put a great big house covering the whole stamp. Well, welcome, Jesse Brown. I sound like Texas to you. And Lindy, yeah, I know you're fairly new, and Jesse is. There's several in here that are fairly new. I recognize the names though because I've seen most of you in here before, at least a time or two. So. Oh. I'm getting sleepy, y'all. It's 9:14 p.m. and usually I don't go to bed till 1 o'clock. And then half the time I don't go to sleep when I go to bed, so. It is. It's a way they can make their backyard bigger. And it makes it look better when they've got their water meter in their own backyard. But it's not going to be so nice when they build a house over here. The water company puts another water meter in for this other house and it ends up in their backyard. Or they'll either make them move the fence. They need to make them move the fence now and be done with it. And I think that's going to happen. Especially with this other builder coming in. Because what they did, first of all, I thought the same builder that built one here was going to build the one directly behind me. But they switched hands. That first builder took off somewhere else, and there's another builder that's got the one directly behind me. But he's trying to do the same thing the other builder did, and encroach on the easement and fence it in the backyard of that new house he's building. And I told him that's not going to happen. I just told him, I said, you need to talk to the water company or we're going to end up in court. Yeah, but it's just a way that they can build a house, put it on a little postage stamp lot, and gain footage in the backyard by encroaching on the other person's property through the easement. So they're gaining about 5 or 6 feet to the backyard when they do that. And it's illegal. And see, nobody stood up to them yet. Like a friend of mine, they did that to her. She lives across town. In fact, it was the lady that helped me move the wood chips that first time when I had them here. And she told me, she said, you better watch because I said, they build houses behind you. They're going to try to put their fence up right along where you got your wood chips blocked. I said, no, they're not. I said, they're not putting it up on this side of the easement at all. I won't let them. She said, they will do it. They'll try to. She said, because that's what they did to her across town. She said everything was fine. Then all of a sudden one day they built a house directly behind hers. Next thing she knew, her whole back easement was fenced in, blocked off from her. She couldn't even get to her water meter. And she said, I have to turn my water off quite often for some issues. And she said, now I got to go around the block. I knock on that person's door, tell them I need to get to the water meter, and they either let me go through the house and go out the back door, or I go around the house and get into the backyard to get to the water meter. And she said they always get mad at her for coming over there. She said, well, I won't have to bother you if you take your fence down. I said, it shouldn't be there anyway. But they haven't taken their fence down. So she said, I'll proceed to keep going over there, knocking on their door to get to my water meter. And she said the first time that she goes over there and they don't answer the door and she don't have access to her water meter, she's going to go around there and she's going to start tearing down the fence. She said, I'll cut me a doorway through there to get to my water meter. I said, well, I think I would have done that already. I wouldn't have been bothered to go knock on their door. I'd have put me a door on there and, well, I wouldn't have done it, but I said it would have been so funny to end up for them one day to come home and there's a doorway in their back fence because they're on your property line, on your property with their fence, and you put a doorway in their back fence right there at your water meter. So anytime you need to get to your water meter, you just open that door and step right in their backyard to your water meter. That's something like I do. I said, could you imagine they're having a cookout or they got friends over and they're all in the backyard? All of a sudden the door opens and you step over in the doorway in their backyard and say, hi, everybody. I just need access to my water meter. I will do that. Oh, y'all are talking about iPads. I don't think anybody's listening to me. No, if that been my lot over here, instead of the guy that I know that lives in Cleburne owns this lot, that fence would never have went up because I would have complained about it. The first time they come over there after me telling them they couldn't put a fence over there, I'd have called the police. They'd have went to jail because that's what the cops told me. Because they've been told it's not their fence line. They cannot put a fence on my side of the easement. The cop just plainly told me, he said, if they come over here and start doing anything, start trying to move your planters or your raised bed or try to dig holes to put a fence down, all you got to do is call us. We'll come out here. We will arrest them for criminal trespassing. Because they've been told, and the cops told them too. Well, not this new crew because they changed hands, but I told them. I've told them several times already that they're not putting a fence on my side of the easement. They need to put it back on the other side. And I told them you need to talk to the water company. So we'll see what happens. What do y'all do if I go live one night and I got black eyes and all kind of stuff where I've been in a fight? That's not going to happen, y'all. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I mean, if I don't stop it, they're going to do that to all three of my lots. They'll be taking about 3 feet of my property over 150-foot stretch. That's quite a hunk of land right there. And it's not going to happen. Because I know it's illegal for them to do it. They're not supposed to do it. They can be sued. So the best thing for them to do is just not to do it to begin with. I'm looking forward to fall, Jana. That'll mean that the air's cooled off a little. I got Donna Placetia, MT's in the house. I don't like the leaves falling, because that means I got raking to do to put them in the compost pile, but I do like fall, because the temperature cools down a little bit, makes it more comfortable for you to be in the yard. And there's Debbie in the house. Hello, Debbie. We're just on here shooting the breeze tonight. Nothing special. Sing Autumn Leaves. I don't even know that song. Yeah, that's when I enjoy grilling outside, is when the weather cools down a little bit. It's not so hot. That's when I don't mind having a fire outside, is when the weather cools down and the fire actually feels good. Yeah, it was. I wished I'd have got more than one, because I went back the next day. I was going to get another one to put in the rock garden, and they'd all sold already. The guy that was in the garden center the next day told me, he said one lady came in here and bought 4 of them herself. So they disappeared right after I got my one and walked out. But you know, I learned a long time ago, when they have sales like that, and if you think you want it, you better get it while you're there, because if you wait and come back, it's not going to be there. It happens every time. So I knew that rose bush probably wouldn't be there when I went back to get another one. Yes, ma'am, that's protection against the ants, because I never know where I'm stepping, and I don't know if I'm going to have one on my foot, and I've had them eat my feet up before. So I wear my boots so I don't get into anything stickers or anything, like, depending on where I'm walking in the yard, and I don't get fire ants biting my feet. I know it looks kind of crazy to be out there in shorts and it being 99 degrees and you wearing these almost knee boots, but hey, I don't want to get bit by those fire ants. They hurt. And that reminds me, I need to get my ant granules put out around the yard that I bought. I was going to do that today and I never did. I was going to wait till it cooled off, and it cooled off, and I kept waiting. I never got it done. Maybe tomorrow. Well, thanks, Lynn. I know y'all probably saw me plant those sweet potato slips. I know it's too late. I mean, by the time they start growing and trying to produce a potato, we'll get cold and the vines will die. You need to start those potato slips probably in December, January, so they'll be big enough to plant by the end of February or March. And I think that's what I'm going to do this coming year, is I'm going to try to find me some potatoes around December, January, and go ahead and start my slips so I can get them planted, in the spring. And then I might get sweet potatoes. Because the ones I planted last year, I planted those late. When I pulled them out, they did have little sweet potatoes, but they were too little to even eat. So I know if they'd have been planted a lot earlier, I'd have had sweet potatoes. Yeah, we know you miss your husband, Jana. I'm so sorry that you miss him because he's gone. I mean, I wish we could bring him back. But after you having somebody there with you all the time for so long and then they're gone, I can't imagine. I mean, I know what it was like when my kids just moved out, and they were gone, and I was left here by myself. But at least I knew I could see them sometime. But when you have a spouse that's died, I mean, they're literally gone. You don't ever see them again, and that's a totally different void in your life. We got Alan in the house too. You think I look cute in my shorts and my boots? I had one lady leave a comment that she said, "Don't you think you're too old to be wearing short shorts?" And another one said, I think it was the same one. She said, "Don't you think you're too old to be wearing tank tops?" I don't know. Are they age restricted? Y'all are shorts and tank tops age restricted or not? I don't know. Yeah, we all have to keep going, Jana. He would want you to keep going and not sit and brood because he's gone. I mean, I know he wouldn't want you to do that. I mean, I know you miss him, you loved him, and in time it'll get a little better. That's what I told that lady. I sent her a comment back and I said, well, if you lived in Texas, you'd be wearing shorts too. If you were out there working in the garden in 100-degree temperatures, she'd be having shorts on too. She may even have less on than what I wear. First of all, she probably wouldn't even be out there. Yep, that's exactly right, Debbie. We're all here for Jana. I thought I was going to lose my mind with what stuff I was going through when I first started posting videos. And I'll tell you what, being busy all the time, occupying my mind and my time with my garden, my cooking videos, and whatever other videos that I do has been a lifesaver for me. It got my mind off of what was bringing me down and, actually brought me up. You love the boots in the garden, Jana. I mean, you're never going to forget your husband, and I'm not saying forget him, but you need to get a hobby, something to occupy your mind and your time the way I did. And that way you can't help but get your mind off of the grief, and you'll be surprised how much it'll calm you down, how much better your frame of mind's going to be, and how much more better you can deal with all the grief. I haven't checked lately. I don't know if you... Let me check. The last time I checked, which was I think yesterday, I didn't get a message, but let me check now. If I can get to my Gmail. Let's see, I got a one from Matthew. When did you try to send it, Sandra? So far, I haven't seen it. And I went back as far as yesterday. We got G and C, welcome, and CC, welcome to our chat. We got two newbies here, y'all. C, G and C, and CC. I'm not as afraid of the snakes as I am the ants, because I don't usually see snakes up here. I didn't get it, so I guess you'll have to send it again. Yeah, just resend it. Make sure the Gmail address is correct. It's HauserLinda49 at Gmail. Our names are similar, just to keep up on your tiptoes. Yep. Where is CC and G and C from? What part of the country are you in? You know, the more I get to thinking about it, the more I don't understand why they didn't go ahead and put my faucet in for my kitchen. Because I've already had faucets put in for the bathroom, the sink. In fact, I've had a whole new sink put in back there. And they put a new faucet in my bathroom, my spare bathroom. Some other plumbers a couple of years ago, not these particular people. But he didn't put the faucet in when he was here. He put the sink in. He said, well, I'll have to come back and do the faucet. Well, that didn't make sense, because it would have been easier for him to put the faucet in when he had the sink out. So I called the company, and they were going to send another guy out on another day. I said, this don't make sense. I said, that means I'll have to pay for 2 trips out here and pay their service charge again. Well, needless to say, the person they sent is someone that I wouldn't let work on my house anyway. And I called them and told them so. I said, this person's not doing anything at my house. I'm sorry. And it was someone years ago that used to steal my son's bicycle. Every time we got a brand new bike for my son never got to ride it. He did the first day he got it. After then, when he'd come home from school, the bike was not there. And he said, Mom, I found out who had my bike. And he told me. Someone that lived not too far away. And they never would bring it back until both tires were flat. Well, I'd fix the tires so my son could ride it. He would ride it a little bit that first day. After that, the bike disappeared. It was never brought back until the tires were flat again. That happened time and time and time again. And this is the guy they sent to work on my plumbing. I said, no. And I called him and I said, because they left to go get parts for the pipe they were going to add or something. I called him and I said, no, this person is not working on anything in my house. I don't trust him. And he's not working on anything here on my property. Okay, we'll call him and let him know. So they called him back in. That's another reason my faucet hasn't been changed. Because I'm the type of person that I don't think a tiger's going to change his stripes, you know? You're hanging in there. You're excited. Your son and daughter-in-law wedding on September 11th. They're married last September and saved for their ceremony this year. Oh, wow. That's something. So you got something to look forward to there, Jana. Well, there you go, GNC. You believe in angels when I feel the time is right for me. Always. It's mild in August near Edmonton. They can, but some don't. And fireworks forth in your distance. Yeah, that's going to be a fun time, September 11th. I really don't think there would have been any problem with them putting that faucet in. Like I said, I've already had 2 faucets replaced in my house. There was no problem. And I don't think there'd be a problem with this one either. And I said I didn't really need them to change out the copper lines. They've been there as long as they have. They can stay for a while longer. They were going to put in a cutoff valve and take the copper out and put in flex hoses. And I thought to myself, you don't have to do all that. Just change the faucet. I've never changed a faucet. I don't know if I could or not. But sometimes I'm tempted to try. Your dad passed September 12th, 98. Oh, I'm sorry. You were almost 12 when your dad passed away. H.B. A. Farah. You love Mamma Mia movies and ABBA? Well, I don't know who you're asking how was their day. My day's been fine. It's just been hot. I've stayed inside most of the time. Oh goodness, we've been on here for almost an hour and a half. I wasn't planning on being on here longer than an hour. Yeah, you have a good night, Jana. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite, and we'll see you next time. Have a blessed day tomorrow. Sheila says, you can do it, Linda. Changed mine, and I had never done it before. It was really easy. Huh. Well, I'm wondering too, if I bought another faucet just like the one I had, if I could change the insides of it and not even put the whole faucet on. Just like change the inner parts that's causing it to drip, to leak. I don't know. I'm almost afraid I'll end up with a worse drip or leak than what I got. I don't know. I might try. You never know. I might give it a try. Can you do your live stream in 4K, Linda? I don't know what you're talking about, Joshua. What do you mean, can I do it in 4K? I don't understand. Lynn says she thinks I could do it too. I might be able to do it. I don't know. I've never done it before, never tried. I still don't know what you're asking me, Joshua. Can I do my live stream in 4K video? I don't understand what... Anthony's back. Welcome back, Anthony. Did you go get your drink? Did you go get your bottle or whatever you were going to get? Gypsy stole my trick cycle when I was little. Oh. I keep getting these confounded offers telling me I won this, I won that. And I know they're all scams. They're telling you won something, then they want the first thing they ask you is your credit card information. I thought to myself, well, if I won it, you don't need my card information. I'm not paying for anything. I know, isn't that autocorrect something? You type in something, if you're not careful, you look up at what you just typed and it looks like Chinese. I've done that before. Well, y'all, we've been on here for almost an hour and a half. I think we're going to call it a night. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I think I'm going to call it, get to bed early tonight and see if I can get some rest. I went all the way to the store and got everything to be checked out. I went to pay and I realized my wallet was at home. Oh no. That happened to me one time years ago. I had taken my billfold out of my handbag for something, and evidently I didn't put it back. And I went to the store to buy some groceries, and I was right here at Brookshire's, the closest store to me other than the General Dollar out here. Not even 5 minutes away. I got to the register. She started ringing everything up. And here I am digging down in my purse, and my billfold is not in there. I thought to myself, oh no. I said, would you please just hold this right here? Let me run home and I'll get my billfold. I thought I had it with me. And I said, I'll promise you, it'll only take me a couple of minutes. I'll be right back because I live real close. She said, okay. So I got in the car, ran home, got my billfold, went back to the store, and went ahead and paid for my groceries and came home again. But that is an odd feeling, you know. You get to the checkout and you don't have anything to pay with. Sandra McCormick says he wants the copper. I can fix. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because that hose has worked fine. I don't need another hose. I don't need a cutoff. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to have a cutoff on there. I know my other plumber, he did put cutoffs to my commode tanks when he was working on the lines several years ago. The first one, he took the copper line completely off and replaced it. The second one, he only took, I don't think he took the copper line off. He just added the cutoff. Or either the flex pipe was real short. I don't remember, but I know the copper's still there too. I'm beginning to wonder everything's a scam nowadays, y'all. I think repairmen are scams. They come fix things so they have to be fixed again to ensure they have to come back to keep them in jobs. And I don't like that. When they do that to me, that's when I fix things myself, and then I don't need them anymore. So if you get hold of repairmen, whether it's electricians, plumbers, carpenters, whatever, and they do a good job and you trust them, don't let them go. Call them every time. They're hard to come by. Cutoffs would be good to have. I would put them in if it was mine, but the line should be fine. I know. Yeah, as long as those lines have been there, they've held up fine. I have no problem with them. Why replace them when they don't need to be replaced? Yeah, their job is to upsell. I hate to tell it, but I kept taking my car to Nissan to get one thing or another done, and I had a bunch of wires they fell from under the dash. right down on where my feet, where I have to put my feet on the gas pedal and the brake. And I was always hitting that bunch of wires. And I tried myself to put it back up, but there was no way I could see to keep them up. They keep falling down. So when I was at Nissan one time, I asked that guy in the service area, I said, I've got a problem with these wires. I said, is there not a way you can fasten these wires up under there so they don't fall down and interfere with me getting to the gas pedal or the brake? I said, it's annoying when you got wires down on your feet. Oh, no, ma'am, there's no way we can fix that. I thought to myself, you got to be kidding me. Well, remember the time I had to go back for the battery that time when all they wanted to do was recharge it? I called the insurance company that I've got, and I told them what was going on. They called Nissan, and they said, look, this woman has a lifetime extended new car warranty on this car. And you got to honor this warranty, whether you like it or not. She paid enough money for it. She should get the work. And she said, you need to fix whatever it is she goes in there for and stop giving her the runaround. Well, when I went in there to get that new battery put in, they fixed the wires. They don't fall down anymore. I have not had a problem with those wires falling on my feet since. They were going to try to make me believe they couldn't fix it because they wanted me to buy another car. I said, I'm not putting that many miles on this car. I don't need another new car. Mater tomato. What are you talking about, tomatoes, MT? You want a tomato sandwich? GNC said, I'm not, and Anthony depends what, say, and why. I guess it's pretty good. That's the one I go live on all the time, Joshua. That's the camera I'm live on right now. She is talking about what I asked you. I don't know what that statement's all about. Come fix your sink. That Pippentine and I can come fix your sink for some mater sandwiches. Well, I may have some mater sandwiches ready by then. I've got some big green tomatoes out there. They might be ripe by the time you get here. I don't know. I might venture in trying to fix it someday. I don't know. It gets to dripping bad enough. I say, well, I can't make it drip any worse. Just well try. Duct tape will work. I don't think it's going to stop my dripping faucet. Anthony said, I asked if I could talk about you and your channel on my next live stream, and she said it's good I asked for permission. I don't care as long as you don't say anything bad about me. Gladys is leaving us. Okay, good night, Gladys. You have a good night. Don't sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite, and we'll see you next time. Never anything bad about you. Well, thank you for that. Maybe one of these days I'll accidentally even catch one of your lives, Anthony. I haven't caught one yet. I guess I've been too busy. We got Rockin' with the Cowboy in the house. Welcome. Don't let him leave with your copper. Yeah, I said copper must be going for a high price right now. Everybody's wanting to take your copper. They want your copper pipes. You going live later tonight, Anthony? And me tomorrow, my purpose. Later tonight you will be. I might be sleeping by then. I don't know. I'm doing good, rocking with Cowboy. How are you? It's at Russell. What is it? I forget the darn address. It's at Russell Tab or Tap. There it is. Lax, not 1997. Great, what you cooked good today. Well, thank you, Rocking with Cowboy. GNC says, it's a great laugh. Gladys phone will win. What? Gladys phone will win. No, I've never heard of that, Sandra. The recipe called shipwreck. Is that some kind of cake or casserole? It's like I covered my camera up again. GNC says he rocks with rhinestone cowboys. You got me interested. I got to look that up, Sandra. Oh, I've been sneezing all day. Oh. Oh, shipwreck is a casserole that combines ground beef, potatoes, and other vegetables. Ground beef, sliced potatoes, chopped onion, celery, tomato sauce, kidney beans, uncooked rice, water, and various seasonings. Yeah, but you got to have your oven going for that. That's one reason I haven't used my bananas over here. I didn't want to turn my oven on. And I kept saying I was going to make banana pancakes, and I haven't done that. Maybe I'll fix banana pancakes tomorrow with those blackened bananas. They got a Grandma Flo's shipwreck recipe. Let's see what goes into hers. Four potatoes, 1 pound of ground beef, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1 onion, 1 can of kidney beans drained, 1 can condensed tomato soup. Arrange potatoes at the bottom of the casserole dish. Crumble ground beef over potatoes and sprinkle with 1/2 teaspoon of salt and ground black pepper. Spread onions over the meat, then beans. That sounds like it would be really good for colder weather. Not when it's 100 degrees outside. Because you got to bake it at 350 for an hour. But it does sound good. It's looking to see if it'll let me print it. How do you know I'm a he or either gender? We don't know. Bless you to heaven and back. Been there. Well, it won't let me print it right now, but I'll do it later. It's probably the connection. Got Tammy Coates in the house. Yeah, banana walnut bread. Yeah, that's what I've been wanting to make, but I haven't done it because I didn't want to turn the oven on. What stuff? What are you too old for? Are y'all getting into another debate? We must have a full moon tonight. Going back and forth to the store. I don't want to go back. Well, don't go back. Just do without. It's not going to kill you. I got little buddy scratching at the door. Let me go give him some treats before he puts lines on my door. Are you starving? They still had some in their bowl, and they still wanted more. I threw a little bit right in the bowl with the rest of it, and they just started chowing down like it was something totally different. Keep feeling like I got cobweb on my arm or something. You're losing it. Why are you saying you're losing it? Well, because I feel like I am being watched. Don't tell me you got another ghost. You think you got another ghost in your place, your house, your new house? Hmm. You hope not. If you do, you will be gone. Okay. Oh, Aunt Linda's house. Linda, Linda's Hauser. Oh, I forgot to ask Jana when she was live if she got the plaque today. She was supposed to get it today, or they said it would be here by today, and I forgot to ask her. And she didn't mention it, so I don't know if she got it or not. Darn, I hate that I didn't think to ask her. Who are they? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Aunt Linda's housing. I don't understand your comments, GNC. To make some coffee. And it won't make. Oh no. Not another problem with your coffee maker. Did you hit the right button? Because this world we live in, sometimes I'm guessing. I know what you're talking about. You never know what goes on in this world today. Yeah, it's too late for coffee. It'll keep you up all night. Unless you drink decaffeinated. Well, y'all, we're pushing 2 hours. It's late. I don't need to keep you all night. I do appreciate each and every one of you for coming into my life. The time that you spend with me, in my lives and watching my videos. You just don't know how much I appreciate it. Just your angels, Anthony. I'll be here for an all-night stream. I don't know. YouTube may shut me down if I tried to be on here for all night. Same to you, Joshua. Yeah, y'all sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And I'll see you on the next one. Love everybody. Bye now.